Okay, you should be all set.
All right. Thanks, Josh.
Yep. Have a good night.
You too.
Thanks.
All right. Since we have quorum, and I know Joyce, you're not feeling well, I can go ahead and read the minutes.
Thank you, Theo.
You're welcome. Okay. So, last meeting, the Bridgewater Cultural Council, March 18th, 2025 meeting was called to order at 7:05 by President Theo Simeone. Members in attendance were Nora Tarr, Theo Simeone, Haley Basowitz, Joyce Pita, and Matt Putnam. Joyce read the minutes from the February 25, 2025 meeting. Theo moved that the minutes be approved, and Nora Tarr seconded the motion. The minutes were approved on a voice vote. Old business, the gathering of further information on some applicants. Theo Simeone contacted Mr. Andrew Lewis, and after a brief discussion, Matt Putnam decided to abstain from voting since he knew Mr. Lewis personally, and the other council members voted to move the project to pending approval column. Black Hat Brewery and Bee Community were moved to pending denial. Nora Tarr reported on the information she had received on the outdoor sculpture. These sculptures have been placed in a number of cities, but council members had been concerned that the historical committee would have to approve. The sculpture would be placed at an elementary school since it was geared for 5 to 10-year-olds. The cost doesn't include installation. The council moved this to pending denial. Spanish with Tess is geared for children, and there is a charge to attend, but scholarships will be available. A majority of the council voted to pending approval. The Theft of Dignity is waiting to hear from the Bridgewater Library to set an exact date. A majority vote moved this to pending approval. Matt Putnam is gathering more information on Bridgewater Community for Civil Rights and to Life celebrations. The council then moved to revisit the denials that had passed at our last meeting. Black Hat Brewery had already been denied earlier in the evening. Bristol Plymouth Regional Joyce Pita brought up the fact that there are Bridgewater students attending the school and that the school has done many projects in town, the golf course clubhouse, and the new entryway to the senior center. A new vote was held and a majority voted to again place it in pending denial. The following projects stayed in pending denial: Christ Congregational Church, Film Music Ornithology, Cranberry Coast Concert, Fuller Craft Museum, KevTech Services, Handel's Messiah, Make Me Brand New, Mayflower Chamber Orchestra, Hip Hop Chair Dance, Mental Health Conference, Plymouth Philharmonic, Outdoor Sculpture You Are Here, Soul Education Center, South Shore Art Center, Southeastern Massachusetts Chorus, TIC Live Radio Theater and Live Music Making History. The new business was Haley Basowitz spoke to the Massachusetts Cultural Council, and the figure of $23,982 is accurate. Cheyenne at the Massachusetts Cultural Council told Haley they would like to have our decisions as soon as possible. Next, Theo Simeone stated that our total requests are 183% of our budget and that he had changed the request amount to half of what was requested, and that would leave us with just over 3,000 to increase some of the requests to more than half. Nora Tarr then indicated that some would need full amount or the project could not happen. Joyce Pita suggested we check those that indicated the total expense was the same as the amount requested. That might be quicker than checking all 45 requests. After discussing each, 5 were increased to full amount requested with the possibility of increasing 1 more. 3 were kept at half. 1 had a number of classes reduced and we needed more information. It was decided to split up the 18 denial letters between the 5 council members and to email them to Theo Simeone by Sunday. After setting our next meeting for Tuesday, March 2025, the meeting was adjourned at 8:45. Respectfully submitted, Joyce Pita, Secretary. Sorry I didn't do it exactly in your voice, Joyce, but...
Well, it'd be better than the one I have.
So I move to approve these minutes.
Can I second that?
I was
I think you can because I was the one who moved. So, just taking a quick vote on that, I approve the minutes.
I do too.
I second that. You beat me to it for the first time, Joyce, but I'll say I second that.
All right. So that's a majority of us. Nora, if you want to, you can record your vote, or we can just say that that was a majority and move along to regular business. All right.
Yes,
Um,
I'm here, sorry.
oh,
Yes,
that's
you can,
okay.
sorry. Not mute, I was muted.
No worries. All right. So I received everybody's letters.
But Nora's,
I wasn't going to call you out, but Nora, I did not see letters from you, but that's okay. I understand everybody's busy, so um it's not a problem. I put my responses kind of just into my own spreadsheet here, and they were, I think, largely the same as what everybody else had come up with. So um I think it would probably be best to have the letters written in one voice. So I can take that if anybody has anything that they would rather, like if they feel very strongly that something is worded one way or another, we could go through the letters. Otherwise, what I was going to do was basically take what everybody had done, put that together in sort of a template, and then um, just apply that to each of the denials as we go through, and then I don't think it is necessary to have all of us on the call to go ahead and do these denials and approvals. These things can happen on the website because it's just a matter of sort of bookkeeping. But I will open to you all as to whether or not you have a preferred methodology about the approvals and denials.
I think that if you were to take that on, Theo, that would be a kindness that I think makes a lot of sense because I'm sure we all, I did what you're kind of saying, but I'm sure we all kind of had like our own little template we made. So I do agree that it would make sense to have a cohesion, but now we all have the reasons written out and all of that done. So it'll make it a lot easier and more streamlined for you. So I am completely a-okay with that.
Okay.
Well, Theo, I have, the Cranberry Coast, I think I sent a letter, a note along with my letter. I couldn't find a reason to deny it because it's going to be held in Bridgewater this November.
Cranberry Coast. Let me.
And I think we moved it thinking it came from somebody in Lakeville, and we figured it was happening in a different town,
Okay.
but they didn't have an exact place. They just said Bridgewater.
Okay. Do you remember what number that was?
Just a minute. Pull out my sheets. Oh, Lord. I think it was the first one you gave me. 17.
17. Okay. Let me go check 17.
So I couldn't, I know we denied, it had it pending denied, but I couldn't figure out a reason.
I see that. Okay. So let me. Let me expand this out. Cranberry Coast Concerts Holiday. James Dolan was the person, right? He came from Lakeville. Said the venue is Bridgewater. Okay.
So that was, like I said, don't know, didn't know how to word a denial.
This might have. So I think the denial was perhaps because lack of location detail.
Okay,
And let me see here. I and my colleagues will be presenting an exciting holiday themed concert, which will include the world premiere of a new work for piano, six hands by intentionally recognized composer, pianist Kirk Whipple. This concert will be repeated in towns throughout the Commonwealth. Okay. Yeah, I think the reason that this would have been denied is just because the venue was a TBA. And I don't know if anybody was able to get a hold of Mr. Dolan.
I don't think that was one we were reaching out to.
Okay.
I think that from the beginning, we had them as pending denial.
Okay. Well, in light of that, since it is going to be in a Bridgewater venue, does somebody want to take the action to reach out to Mr. Dolan and ask how finalized they are to getting a venue? And we can move this to pending approved. I think we still had enough funding left over to do the half on this one. Let me look at the numbers on this really quick. Yes, so we have $1,092 left over from the budget. So I can put the 795, which would be the half value of what they're requesting.
Oh, I have 1,500.
Right. I'm saying the half, like if I half that value, it's 795.
Half of 1,500 is 750.
Is it? Why is it not doing that? Oh, because it's the 0.53. I put a 0.53 in there instead of 0.5.
Okay. Excuse me.
Sorry about that. So yeah, no, that was a 53%. I was doing a 53% across the board to try to get the numbers as close to possible. Okay.
I can send an email to them.
Okay. All right. So, if nobody objects to me sort of collating and then pounding out the denials, does somebody else want to take the action to go through and approve the do a full approval on the website for the ones that we have approved?
I can do that.
Oh, but we can't do the approvals until after 2 weeks have passed from the time in which we deny.
Oh, okay.
If they come back, we have to reconsider. So you can't
Okay.
approve until the 2-week period from the date that we have sent out. And the Mass Cultural Council, I believe, notifies us of any denials that come through. When in the past, the reason denials were often rejected is because it was just a standard we decided this, we decide, you have to have a reasoning why. So you have to include the regular guidelines, why, those are the ones that we approve. But also, we had, many other qualified grants to fill, and we chose to do that. And then also, if we felt that, they didn't have a location, and they haven't tried to reach out to us to find out what's going on with their grant. We're going to, in other words, we have to make a solid list of denials. It can't be like, are we going to call somebody after we deny some? So that has to be done first. A solid, these are the people that we're, and we're done looking at them. And then we wait for reconsideration after that. Then we can do the approval, which is happy days.
Right.
Yeah. Well, regardless, whenever we're at that point, I'm happy to do that when we're there. Just because I was going to talk with Laura or Lori rather, regardless. So I'm happy to take that on just for whenever we're at that point.
Yep.
Okay. So then what I propose doing is I will this week go through and streamline all the denials. I will send out all the denials, and then we can reconvene 2 weeks from now to see if there's any I should hopefully have this done by tomorrow afternoon. So we can meet to see if anybody had challenged their
Appealed.
denial, or appealed, and then the day after we can just go ahead and have those all approved. Does that sound good to everybody?
Sounds good to me.
I'll get that to Mr. Dolan tomorrow.
Okay.
So you'll have that too.
Okay. And just so that everybody's kind of on board with that, do you all feel comfortable with me moving that to pending approved? Of course, pending the the information coming in from Mr. Dolan.
I think it sounds like a nice program.
I do too.
This is Nora. I do as well, but
Okay.
the standard reason I'm going to just disagree about that. We've already decided that we weren't going to approve them when we went and we approved everybody else and assigned the money that we were going to give them. And just having the money left over is not enough of a good reason to grant someone. You have to have the reason why. Take another vote onto if we want to include it in that. A real official vote, we'd all have to vote on it again.
I agree with that. I think the question was, did we have the detail on that person? And I don't know. I can't remember if we reached out. I don't think we received any information from Mr. Dolan. Or at least I'm not seeing anything in my emails that I had from. So I wonder if we had put that as previously we were waiting on information and didn't receive any. So I'm just accounting for it right now in the budget. We do have it to do, the 53% funded number that I'd come up with.
Right. Well, and I'm not going to argue with the having and the percentage and all that, but it's just saying that if you look at the grants as a whole, and you would have put them in the order of where you had almost like unanimous approval for all of them.
Right.
And then you look at, and you say, oh, well, we found this other one. Well, if we didn't approve it then what has changed on it? And for me, I don't even remember what my vote was on it at the time. So there must be something in our minutes or something that would have said that we all approved it or disapproved it, and then what the valid reason was, because we had to do that. So
Right.
If the reason is only that we didn't know that, then we didn't do our job and read the grant all the way through. And in that case, then we do need to vote on it again after doing that. And we might need to go through all the grants one more time to make sure, because you cannot refuse somebody or grant someone just on the basis that, oh, we thought, but we made a mistake. You really have to be sure about that, because they will request to be reconsidered.
Right.
And so we have to be very cautious about that and fair. So just that if we're going to use that and we voted on that, that's a valid reason to say, okay, we need to relook at it, but we'd all have to look at it again. And then I would suggest everybody needs to go through the grant applications one more time, just to know for sure that we didn't miss another one. Because if you're going to approve or deny on that basis, you have to be that way across the board for all 45 grants.
Right.
Okay, so I'll be quiet
Okay.
now. I'll be quiet.
Nope, you're good, Nora.
Sorry.
I appreciate it. Keep
Too
me in
many
line.
years, too many years. No, it's just too many years. And we had, I think in all the time that I can recall doing that, I think we had one person come in and ask for reconsideration. And I don't really recall, I mean, it was so long ago, but we only had one that came in. So we were very detailed about, these are our guidelines. And because it's in, Toledo, Ohio, or you don't have a plan, or you're already more than overfunded and you're just looking for extra cash, or whatever the difference was. And we always tried to encourage them to come back again another day and reconsider it. But we would get literally boilerplate where they just took the grant from the previous year and would resubmit it. So they would get, we'd have to go through the whole little dance with them again. So we do need to know for sure. So if we have any doubt, and we have a doubt here on one, we should each probably, on our own time this week, maybe just go through and make sure that we didn't do that. But I don't have all my votes written down here.
Yeah, and I don't have my votes written down either. Although
Yeah.
I did have sort of a tertiary going in little notepad that I had brought the first time we had talked. So
Yeah.
I do expect that there probably won't be, like, just expecting that there probably won't be much communication back, I would assume, because we are really behind on these getting approved. Just to bring, like, I understand where you're coming from, Nora, but I know that the council, like, Cheyenne very much made it seem like these need to be done. So I know where you're coming from. And I know we're going to hear from them. And if we all have that there, I just know that they want this back. So if we're going to do that, we want to find all of that, because I just don't expect to hear back from many of them, because I expect they probably got funding from wherever they were getting funding.
Well, the problem is they can be funded after they did their event. So if they're denied, they can still expect to receive money from us.
You
And
know,
if
I
we
always
don't-
forget that part. I do
Yeah.
always forget that part of it. So thank you.
Yeah. So I think if we just, I'm just saying everybody should take a quick skim through, look for the magic words
Yeah.
in there that we might have kind of missed. And just to be sure, because you never want as a council to be called out because you gave appearance of favoring, this is our guideline, but we're not going to let that apply to this one and that one. So, if you're going to override your own guideline at any point, you have to have a reason to say, well, this one fit the top guideline we have. You didn't quite fit the top. You fit in the third category. And frankly, we ran out of money. That's a valid reason. So we just have to be sure that we give a total appearance that we actually went through. And so when it comes this late that this is brought up, it gives the overall appearance that we just whipped through it in order to get it done. And that's where you get a lot of issues with it. And we don't want to do that, because that's not our intention. I know that. So just,
I
Just
think,
take a quick peek. That's all. Just a little sneak peek at them one more time. And if everybody took, our next meeting wouldn't be for a week. So if everybody went into the panel book and just skimmed through the ones quickly, and if you find something that's whoa, then we have to go back and do one more vote on it, and then have a reason why we're going to approve or disapprove anybody else that has that same thing. Because there's other ones. I mean, if you're going to start talking about something's in Easton and Middleborough, what's the actual physical distance to go from Middleborough to Easton, or go to Brockton, or go to, fill in the blank. So it can't be denied just that simply on distance. It has to be a combination of all of our guidelines that are there. So if it fits all those guidelines, check, great. If it doesn't, then sorry. Now we have to go and look at our priorities and the amount of money that we have to grant. And then do we want to partially grant someone money when someone else that's on the top of the list because they hit all the buttons and they're only going to get a portion, maybe they could get it all. So that's all I'm saying. We need to, because this isn't the first meeting where we've heard people go back and say, oh, I didn't know about those grants. So we need to look through them one more time on our own personal time this week. And that way we're absolutely sure about why we decided, especially when it comes to that with the distance thing, because someone's going to come back and say, hey, I'm 1 mile further away. And then what do you do if that's the reason why we didn't approve them? So, and now I'll stop talking. Sorry.
Nope, you're good. I appreciate it. That's years of experience that it's really, really helpful to have. So I agree. I think we should go, take this time that we have to go through and just make sure that we're 100% on those. And then we'll go ahead and, like I said, do the full approvals around next meeting, because that should be close to the 2 weeks time that they had to appeal. So I will go ahead and work those denial letters. Is there any other business that anyone wants to bring up? Otherwise, I think we can probably call this a shorter meeting and I can just get to those letters. I do see we have somebody else in the call. Don't know if she wanted to speak.
Hi, my name is Joanne. This is my first time attending a meeting, and it was kind of voluntarily. I'm supposed to attend a meeting. I wish I could more often, but I had to do this for a project that I am doing at school. So thank you for allowing me to introduce myself, and thank you for allowing me to attend the meeting.
Yeah, absolutely, Joanne. It's nice to have someone. Okay. Well, if we don't have any other business, I'd say we can motion to close the meeting out and call this one a short one. How does
I
everyone feel
will
about that?
second that.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, with that hearty response, I think we can let everybody go. Thank you for joining tonight, and I will I'll go ahead and get those letters sent out. And then I will also message Josh that we will reconvene in 2 weeks from now.
All right, great.
okay.
All right.
Thank you. Have a good night. I apologize for being tardy.
Thank you.
You're all good.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye.